The massive space station hung in the darkness like a metal moon. Its silver walls stretched for miles in every direction. Inside the main hall, hundreds of alien beings sat in neat rows. Some had blue skin, others had scales, and a few looked like walking trees. This was the Galactic Council, the most powerful group in known space. Ambassador Vex stood at the center platform. He was tall and thin, with purple skin that seemed to glow under the bright lights. His people, the Korthani, ruled over 300 star systems. They were known across the galaxy for their strength and their quick anger. The humans have gone too far, Vex said, his voice echoing through the hall. They think they got worlds and ignore our rules. We gave them a chance to be part of our empire. We offered them protection, but they refused. The other council members nodded. Many of them remembered when humans first appeared in space just 100 years ago. Back then, their ships were slow and their weapons were weak. Even now, humanity only controlled 12 star systems. The Korthani controlled 25 times more space. The humans are like children playing with fire, continued Ambassador Drac from the hegemony. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. They do not understand how small they are. In the back of the hall, Admiral Kane sat quietly. He was the only human in the room. His hair was gray, and his face showed many years of hard work. He wore a simple blue uniform with no fancy decorations. While the aliens talked about his people, he showed no emotion at all. "We have decided," Vex announced. "The humans have exactly 72 hours to give up all their colonies. They must accept Korthani rule. If they refuse, we will destroy every human world." The council chamber filled with sounds of agreement. Some aliens clicked their claws on their desks. Others made humming noises. A few simply nodded their large heads. Ambassador Trix of the Confederation raised one of her 4 arms. "What if they fight back? Humans are known to be stubborn." This caused laughter throughout the hall. The idea of humans fighting the Korthani seemed like a joke. The Korthani had ships that could destroy planets. They had weapons that could burn through any armor. Their soldiers were trained from birth to be perfect warriors. "Let them try," Vex said with a cold smile. "Our first fleet has 5,000 ships. The humans have maybe 200 ships in their entire navy. This will not be a war. It will be pest control." Admiral Kane watched all of this without moving. His hands rested calmly on his knees. His breathing was slow and steady. When other aliens looked at him, they saw an old man who knew his people were doomed. "Does the human representative have anything to say?" asked Chairman Zolt, the head of the council. His voice carried a tone of false politeness. Kane stood up slowly. The hall became quiet. All eyes focused on the single human among hundreds of aliens. "The Galactic Council has spoken," Kane said simply. "I will inform my government of your decision. That is all?" Vex seemed surprised. "No threats? No angry words? No promises of revenge?" "No," Kane replied. "Earth will respond in its own way." Some of the aliens whispered to each other. They expected the human to beg for mercy or at least try to negotiate. Instead, he seemed almost calm about the situation. "Very well," Chairman Zolt said. "The council has made its choice. Humanity has 72 hours to surrender. If they do not, the Korthani Empire will take action." The meeting ended with formal votes and official statements. One by one, every species in the council agreed to support the Korthani ultimatum. The humans were alone, facing the combined might of the galaxy's greatest powers. As the chamber began to empty, Kane remained in his seat. He pulled out a small device that looked like a simple communication pad. The other aliens paid no attention to him as they filed out, discussing their plans for after the human problem was solved. Kane pressed a few buttons on the device. The screen glowed softly. He typed in a short message using letters and numbers. That meant nothing to anyone watching. To most observers, it looked like he was just updating his schedule or sending a routine report home. But Kane was not sending a routine message. He was activating something that had been planned for many years. Something that the Galactic Council had never suspected. After everyone else had left, Kane finally stood up. He walked slowly toward the exit, his footsteps echoing in the empty hall. At the doorway, he stopped and looked back at the chamber where his species had just been condemned to death or slavery. A small smile appeared on his face for just a moment. Then it was gone. He pressed the final button on his device. Far across the galaxy, in hidden bunkers and secret bases, other humans received Kane's signal. They had been waiting for this day. They had prepared for this moment. Some of them had been preparing their entire lives. The signal was simple. Just 4 words in an old Earth code. Execute Protocol 7. Now. Within minutes, the message reached Earth. It traveled to human colonies on 12 different worlds. It went to human ships scattered across dozens of star systems. It reached human agents who had been living on alien worlds for years, pretending to be traders, scientists, and diplomats. Protocol 7 was not just a military plan. It was not just about ships and weapons. It was about revealing the truth of what humanity really was. For 100 years, humans had been playing a role. They had acted weak when they were strong. They had acted simple when they were clever. They had acted harmless when they were the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council thought they were declaring war on a small, primitive species. They thought they were swatting a fly. They had no idea that they had just awakened something that had been waiting patiently for exactly this moment. Admiral Kane walked through the station's corridors toward his ship. Other aliens moved past him without a second glance. To them, he was just a defeated old man going home to tell his people that their time was over. They were wrong. Kane reached his small transport ship. As he prepared for departure, he looked out at the massive Corthany fleet positioned around the station. Hundreds of warships floated in perfect formation. Their weapons pointed toward human space. In 72 hours, those ships would learn what it meant to threaten Earth. The galaxy would discover what humans had been hiding behind their smiles and peaceful words. The most dangerous species in the galaxy was about to show its true face. War Master Grix stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Sword. The massive ship was 5 miles long and carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. Around him, 4,999 other Corthany warships waited, in perfect formation. This was the first fleet, the pride of the Corthany Empire. Prepare to exit hyperspace, Grix commanded. His purple skin glowed brighter with excitement. Soon, he would be known as the War Master who conquered Earth. The stars stopped streaking past the windows. Space became still. Before them hung a blue and green planet, Earth, the human homeworld. Grix had expected to see hundreds of human ships waiting to defend their planet. He had prepared speeches about their brave but hopeless last stand. Instead, he saw nothing. Scan for enemy vessels, Grix ordered. No ships detected, War Master, reported his sensor officer. No orbital platforms, no defense stations. Grix frowned. This was wrong. Every species in the galaxy protected their homeworld with massive fleets. Even the weakest races had at least some ships guarding their most important planet. Are the humans hiding behind their moon? Grix asked. Negative, War Master. We have scanned the entire system. There are no military vessels anywhere. Perhaps they fled, suggested Commander Knox, Grix's second in command. Humans are known to be cowards. Grix nodded slowly. This made sense. The humans had seen the might of the Corthany Empire and run away like frightened animals. It was disappointing, but not surprising. Begin bombardment of their cities, Grix ordered. We will make an example of this world. The Corthany fleet moved into position around Earth. their weapons charged with deadly energy. But as they prepared to fire, more strange reports came in. "War Master," called the communications officer. "We are receiving reports from home. Several of our colonies have stopped responding." "What do you mean, stopped responding?" "Colony ships that should have checked in this morning have not made contact. Survey teams on mining worlds have gone silent. It started about 6 hours ago." Grix felt a cold feeling in his stomach. 6 hours ago was exactly when the human ultimatum had expired. "How many colonies?" he asked. 47 so far, War Master. The number keeps growing." Grix stared at the peaceful planet below. Earth looked so quiet and harmless. Cities were visible on the surface, but no signs of panic or evacuation. It was as if the humans were simply going about their normal lives, ignoring the massive fleet above their heads. "Sir," another officer called out, "we are receiving a transmission from the planet. Put it on screen." The main display flickered and showed a human woman. She had dark hair tied back neatly and wore a white coat. She sat in what looked like a laboratory with charts and screens visible behind her. "I am Dr. Lisa Park," the woman said calmly. "I am speaking from the Human Research Institute. I assume you are War Master Grix of the Corthony First Fleet." Grix was surprised. How did this human know his name? How did she know he was here? "You will surrender immediately," Grix growled. "Your planet is defenseless." Dr. Park smiled. It was not a frightened smile. It was the kind of smile a teacher might give to a student who had said something foolish. "I wanted to explain something to you," she said, "and to the Galactic Council members who I know are watching this transmission. You have made a serious mistake about humanity." "The only mistake was giving your species any time at all," Grix replied. "Prepare to die. You see us as weak because we are new to space." Dr. Park continued, ignoring his threat. "You see us as primitive because our technology seems simple. You see us as harmless because we smile and try to make friends." She stood up and walked to a large chart on the wall behind her. It showed different planets and the creatures that lived on them. "Let me tell you about evolution," she said. "Most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds with stable climates, predictable seasons, safe environments. Your planets were nurseries that protected you as you grew intelligent." Grix watched, confused. Why was this human giving him a science lesson when she was about to die? "Earth was different," Dr. Park continued. "Our planet tried to kill us every day. Ice ages that lasted thousands of years. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun. Earthquakes, floods, storms, and diseases. Not to mention the other creatures." She pointed to pictures of Earth animals. Our world was full of predators. Tigers that could crush skulls with their jaws. Sharks that had been perfecting the art of killing for millions of years. Snakes with poison that could drop an elephant. Spiders, scorpions, bears, wolves, everything on our planet was designed to hunt and kill. "What is your point?" Grix demanded. "My point is that humans are not the prey species you think we are," Dr. Park said. Her smile grew wider. "We are the species that survived all of that. We are the species that climbed to the top of the food chain on a world where everything was trying to eat us." More reports were coming into the Corthony fleet. Colonies throughout their empire were going dark, not destroyed, just gone. No distress signals, no signs of battle. They simply stopped existing. "But more importantly," Dr. Park continued, "we learned something that your species never had to learn. We learned how to hide our true nature. On Earth, the most successful predators are not the ones that roar and show their teeth. They are the ones that look harmless right up until they strike." Grix felt ice in his veins. "What are you saying?" "I am saying that for 100 years, humanity has been playing a role. We acted weak when we were strong. We acted grateful when we were studying you. We acted peaceful when we were preparing for war. On the tactical display, more red warnings appeared. Korthani military bases were reporting strange incidents. Supply convoys were disappearing. Command centers were losing contact with their ships. Every human trader who visited your worlds was gathering intelligence, Dr. Park explained. Every human diplomat who smiled at your leaders was learning your weaknesses. Every human student who came to study your culture was mapping your defenses. Impossible, Grix whispered. You asked where our defense fleet is, Dr. Park said. They are not here because they do not need to be here. While you brought your ships to attack our homeworld, our ships are visiting yours. The communications board on Grix's ship lit up like a celebration display. Reports flooded in from across Korthani space. The third mining colony on Keller Prime had gone silent. The military academy on Torvin was not responding. The shipyards orbiting Korthani itself were showing no signs of life. How? Grix asked, his voice barely a whisper. You never asked the right questions, Dr. Park replied. You saw our small population and assumed we were weak. You saw our young civilization and assumed we were naive. You saw our smiles and assumed we were harmless. She walked closer to the camera. Her eyes seemed to look directly at Grix across the vastness of space. You forgot to ask the most important question of all, she said. What kind of species could survive and thrive on a death world where everything was designed to kill them? The answer hung in the space between them, unspoken but understood. You just declared war on the apex predators of the galaxy, Dr. Park said softly. And now you are going to learn what that means. General Marcus Thompson stood in the command center of the human ship Nightfall. Unlike the bright, colorful bridges of alien vessels, this room was dark and quiet. Blue lights glowed softly from control panels. The crew worked in silence, their movements quick and precise. Report, Thompson said quietly. Phase 1 complete, General, replied Captain Davis. All Korthani colonies in the Outer Rim have been secured. No survivors, no witnesses. Thompson nodded. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars on his hands. From old battles. He had been planning this operation for 20 years. What about their military bases? 17 command centers eliminated. Their communications network is down across 4 sectors. They cannot coordinate their fleet movements. On the main screen, a map showed Korthani space. Red dots marked their colonies and bases. One by one, the dots were turning black. Each black dot meant another Korthani stronghold had fallen silent. How are we doing this so fast? Asked Lieutenant Fox, one of the younger officers. Thompson smiled. It was not a happy smile. Because we have been planning this for 100 years. Every human who ever visited their space was gathering information. Every trade mission was really a spy mission. The truth was more impressive than most people knew. Human traders had not just visited Korthani worlds, they had lived there. Some for years. They had married aliens, started businesses, and become part of local communities. All while secretly mapping defense systems and identifying weak points. Sir, called the sensor officer. We have a Korthani patrol fleet approaching. 5 ships, heavy cruiser class. Show me, Thompson said. The screen displayed 5 large alien ships moving through space. Their hulls were painted in the purple and gold colors of the Korthani military. Each ship was 3 times the size of the Nightfall. They outgun us 50 to 1, Lieutenant Fox said nervously. Only if they can see us, Thompson replied. Activate stealth mode. Something impossible happened. The Nightfall simply vanished, not just from sight, but from all sensors. The ship was still there, but space itself seemed to bend around it. The technology should not have existed. According to galactic science, what the humans were doing was impossible. How do we have cloaking technology? Fox whispered. We have had it for 30 years, Thompson answered. We just never told anyone. The Korthani ships passed within a few hundred meters of the nightfall. Their sensors showed empty space. They had no idea that a human warship was close enough to touch. "Target their engines," Thompson ordered. "Quantum torpedoes, maximum yield." The weapons that fired from the nightfall were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Instead of energy beams or explosive missiles, they shot particles that existed in two places at once. The torpedoes appeared inside the Korthani engines without having to travel through space. All 5 enemy ships exploded at exactly the same moment. "Impossible," Fox breathed. "Our weapons went through their shields like they were not even there." "Quantum entanglement," Thompson explained. "The torpedoes do not need to break through shields. They are already on the other side." Reports came in from other human ships across the galaxy. The Phantom Wing had destroyed a Korthani supply depot on Keller Prime. The Shadow Squadron had eliminated 3 military academies. The Ghost Fleet had captured an entire star system without firing a single shot. "General," called Communications Officer Wong, "we are receiving a transmission from the Korthani Home Fleet. They want to talk." "Put them through." The screen flickered and showed War Master Grix. He looked very different from a few hours ago. His purple skin was pale, and his eyes showed fear. "Human ships," Grix said, his voice shaking. "We demand that you identify yourselves. Show yourselves. And fight with honor." Thompson stepped forward so Grix could see him. "I am General Marcus Thompson of the 3rd Human Expeditionary Force. We are fighting with honor." "We are just fighting smarter than you. This is not war," Grix protested. "This is cowardice. You attack from the shadows like criminals." "We attack from the shadows because that is how predators hunt," Thompson replied calmly. "We studied your military tactics for decades. You rely on big ships and bigger guns. You think war is about who can make the loudest noise." Another report came in. The human ship Whisper had eliminated the main Korthani weapons factory. The Silence had captured their primary research station. The Echo had taken control of their largest fuel depot. "On Earth, we learned a different kind of warfare," Thompson continued. "We learned that the hunter who roars never catches anything. The hunter who stays quiet catches everything." "You cannot defeat the entire Korthani Empire," Grix said desperately. "We have millions of soldiers, thousands of ships." "We know exactly how many ships you have," Thompson said. "We know where they are stationed. We know their patrol routes. We know their weaknesses. We have been watching you for 100 years. The truth was even more shocking than Grix realized. Humans had not just been watching, they had been helping. Human engineers had worked on Korthani ships, installing improvements that were actually backdoors. Human technicians had upgraded Korthani computer systems with helpful efficiency programs that were really spy software. Every Korthani military base had human-designed components somewhere in their systems. Components that could be turned off with the right signal. "Sir," reported Captain Davis, "the Korthani 4th Fleet just lost power to all their ships. They are drifting helplessly." "And the 7th Fleet?" "Their navigation computers are sending them in circles. They think they are heading to Earth, but they are actually flying toward their own sun." Thompson turned back to Grix. "You wanted to know how we are doing this so fast. The answer is simple. We are not just better at war than we are better at peace." "What do you mean?" "For 100 years you thought we were your friends. You welcomed us to your worlds. You let us study your technology. You trusted us to help build your defenses." Thompson's smile was cold. "You never wondered why humans were always so eager to help." More black dots appeared on the tactical display. The Korthani Empire was collapsing faster than anyone had thought possible. Not through massive battles or long sieges, but through precise strikes that removed key supports from their entire civilization. "We offer you surrender terms," Thompson said. Complete withdrawal from all disputed territories. Full reparations. For the cost of this war. Immediate release of all prisoners and slaves in Korthany space. And if we refuse? Grix asked. Thompson gestured to the tactical display, where more Korthany positions were going dark every minute. Then we continue hunting, he said simply. And we are very, very good at hunting. The transmission ended. Grix's image disappeared, leaving only the tactical display showing the steady collapse of the Korthany Empire. General, asked Lieutenant Fox, how long until they surrender? Thompson checked his watch. My estimate? 12 hours. Maybe less. How can you be so sure? Because they are starting to understand what they are really fighting, Thompson replied. They thought they declared war on a weak species. They actually declared war on the most patient predators in the galaxy. Around them, the hunt continued. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Emergency lights flashed red across the massive hall. Alien delegates shouted at each other in dozens of different languages. Some species were preparing to flee their homeworlds. Others were demanding explanations that no one could give. Chairman Zolt banged his ceremonial staff on the podium. The sound echoed through the chamber like thunder. Slowly, the noise died down. Order. Zolt commanded. We will have order in this chamber. Ambassador Vex stood at his seat, his purple skin now pale with fear. Impossible, he kept muttering. This is impossible. What is impossible? Demanded Emperor Thax of the hegemony. His massive form towered over the other delegates. Tell us what has happened to your empire. Vex's hands shook as he activated his datapad. The main screen in the chamber lit up with a map of Korthany space. 2 days ago, it had shown 300 star systems under Korthany control. Now more than half the systems showed no signal at all. Our colonies are gone, Vex whispered. Not destroyed, gone, no battles, no distress calls. Our people simply vanished. How many casualties? Asked Ambassador Drac. We do not know, Vex replied. We cannot find any bodies. We cannot find any wreckage. The colonies are just empty. A new voice cut through the chamber. That is because there were no battles. Everyone turned to see Admiral Kane walking down the center aisle. He moved slowly and calmly, just as he had 2 days ago. But now, every alien in the chamber watched him with new eyes. You, Emperor Thax, growled, what have your people done? Kane stopped at the same seat he had occupied before. He did not look angry or triumphant. He looked tired, like a man who had finished a long and difficult job. We did what you forced us to do, Kane said. Simply. We defended ourselves. Defended? Vex shouted. You destroyed our empire. No, Kane corrected. We disabled your empire. There is a difference. Kane walked to the central platform where speakers addressed the council. No one tried to stop him. The same aliens who had laughed at humanity 2 days ago now watched the human admiral with something close to terror. You want to know what happened? Kane said. I will tell you. For 100 years since the day we first met other species, humanity has been preparing for this moment. What moment? Chairman Zolt asked. The moment when someone would mistake our kindness for weakness, Kane replied. We knew it would happen eventually. Every species in the galaxy judges others by their own standards. You thought we were weak because we did not conquer our neighbors. You thought we were simple because we asked questions instead of making demands. Kane activated a small device in his hand. The main screen changed to show human ships across the galaxy. There were thousands of them. Far more than anyone had believed existed. While you were counting our 12 colonies, we were building 100 secret bases, Kane explained. While you were laughing at our small fleet, we were constructing shipyards and hidden systems. While you were dismissing our technology as Primitive, we were developing weapons you cannot even imagine. Ambassador Trix raised one of her forearms. How did you hide so much from us? Because you never looked, Kane answered. You saw what you expected to see. A young, weak species that was grateful for your attention. You never wondered why human traders always volunteered for the most dangerous routes. You never questioned why human diplomats were so interested in your military protocols. The terrible truth was becoming clear to the assembled delegates. Every human they had ever met had been gathering intelligence. Every trade agreement had given humans access to alien worlds. Every cultural exchange had been a chance to study alien weaknesses. The research station where Dr. Park spoke to you. Kane continued, it was built 30 years ago, hidden in an asteroid field that your surveys somehow missed. We have been watching your every move, studying your every decision. Emperor Thax leaned forward in his massive chair. You said your colonies were empty. Where are your people? They are exactly where they need to be, Kane replied. Some are operating our fleets. Some are securing former Korthani territory. Some are making sure that other species understand the new situation. As if summoned by his words, reports began flooding into the chamber. Human ships had appeared in orbit around the hegemony's capital world, not attacking, just watching. The same was happening across dozens of star systems. Everywhere the major powers had military bases or important colonies, human vessels had quietly taken position. This is blackmail, Thax declared. This is insurance, Kane corrected. We want peace. We have always wanted peace. But we learned something important about galactic politics in the last 2 days. What did you learn? Chairman Zolt asked. We learned that peace only exists when everyone is afraid to break it, Kane said. For 100 years, you tolerated us because we were too small to matter. The moment we became successful enough to notice, you decided we needed to be crushed. The chamber fell silent. Every delegate understood the implication. If the Galactic Council could turn on humanity so quickly, they could turn on anyone. You all voted to support the Korthani ultimatum, Kane reminded them. Every species in this chamber agreed that humans should be slaves or corpses. Not because we had done anything wrong, but because we had done something right. Ambassador Drax's rocky features showed confusion. What do you mean? Our colonies were prosperous. Our people were happy. Our technology was advancing rapidly, Kane explained. Instead of celebrating our success, you saw it as a threat. You decided that any species that could grow so quickly needed to be stopped. Kane looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of delegates from every major civilization. Do you know what the most dangerous thing about humans is? He asked. It is not our weapons. It is not our ships. It is not even our ability to hide in plain sight. Then what? Vex whispered. We remember everything, Kane said softly. Every slight, every insult, every threat. We remember which species supported the ultimatum and which ones abstained. We remember who laughed when you sentenced us to death. The implications hung in the air like poison gas. Human ships surrounded their worlds. Human agents had infiltrated their societies. Human technology surpassed their own. And humans remembered every species that had betrayed them. What happens now? Chairman Zolt asked. Kane considered the question carefully. Now we establish new rules. Rules that protect all species from the kind of treatment you tried to give us. Rules that ensure no civilization can be destroyed simply for being successful. And if we refuse these new rules? Emperor Thax demanded. Kane's expression never changed. Then you will learn what the Korthani learned. That there is a difference between being destroyed and being removed. The chamber erupted in frightened whispers. Every delegate understood that their entire way of life had just changed forever. The humans had not conquered them through force. They had outmaneuvered them through patience, intelligence, and long-term planning. The galaxy is about To become a much safer place, Kane announced. Whether you want it to or not. 6 months later, the same council chamber looked very different. The emergency lights were gone. The shouting had stopped. In their place was a quiet tension that filled the air like electricity before a storm. Admiral Kane sat in a different seat now. Instead of the observer section in the back, he occupied one of the 5 permanent chairs at the front of the chamber. The human seat, as it was now called. It had been added to the Galactic Council's ruling committee after what history would remember as the 72-hour war. Master Grix stood before the council in chains. The proud Korthani leader who had once commanded 5,000 ships now wore the simple gray uniform of a prisoner. His purple skin had faded to a dull color that showed his defeat. The Korthani Empire formally surrenders all territorial claims beyond their original 12 systems, Grix said, reading from a prepared statement. His voice was hollow, empty of the anger that had once made him feared across the galaxy. Chairman Zolt nodded slowly. The council accepts your surrender. What about the reparations? The Korthani will pay for all damages caused by their aggression, Grix continued. Mining rights to the Keller system will be transferred to human control for 50 years. Our military fleet will be reduced to defensive vessels only. Kane listened without emotion. The terms were generous compared to what humanity could have demanded. The Korthani still had their homeworld. Their people were still alive. They would recover in time, but they would never again threaten another species. There is one more thing, Kane said quietly. The chamber became even more silent. When the human admiral spoke, everyone listened now. Tell them about the students, Kane said to Grix. Grix's shoulders sagged even further. For the past 20 years, the Korthani Military Academy has hosted human exchange students. We thought they were learning from us. And what were they really doing? Kane asked. They were teaching us, Grix admitted. Every improvement to our weapon systems, every upgrade to our ship designs, every new tactic we developed. They all came from human suggestions. Ambassador Vex, who had delivered the ultimatum 6 months ago, made a choking sound. You mean ... We built our entire military expansion using human technology, Grix said. We thought we were becoming stronger. We were actually becoming dependent. The other council members exchanged horrified looks. If humans had been secretly guiding Korthani military development, what did that mean for their own forces? Kane stood up slowly. I want to be very clear about something. Humanity did not want this war. We did not want to reveal our capabilities. We would have preferred to remain your friends and trading partners. Then why did you prepare for war? Asked Emperor Thax. Because history taught us that peace without strength is just waiting to be conquered, Kane replied. On Earth, we have a saying, if you want peace, prepare for war. Kane walked to the center of the chamber, just as he had 6 months ago. But this time, no one was laughing. No one was dismissing the human representative. For 100 years, we watched how galactic politics worked, Kane said. We saw strong species conquer weak ones. We saw successful civilizations get crushed by jealous neighbors. We learned that in this galaxy, being good is not enough. You also have to be dangerous. Dr. Lisa Park appeared on the main screen, broadcasting from the same research station where she had explained human evolution to War Master Grix. Behind her, dozens of scientists worked at computers and lab equipment. Hello, Council, Dr. Park said with her familiar calm smile. I wanted to share some information about our current projects. The screen showed images of new human colonies. Not the 12 systems everyone had known about, but dozens of thriving worlds with cities, farms, and spaceports. We have been busy over the past 6 months, Dr. Park continued. Establishing new settlements, building better ships, developing more advanced technology. How many colonies do you really have? Chairman Zolt asked. 63 and growing, Dr. Park replied. We have also established research partnerships with 17 species who chose to work with us rather than against us. This was news to most of the council members. While they had been debating the new power structure, humanity had been quietly expanding their influence through cooperation instead of conquest. What kind of technology are you developing? Ambassador Drac asked nervously. Dr. Park's smile widened slightly. Better question, what kind of technology are we sharing? Our new medical advances have eliminated 3 diseases that have plagued the hegemony for centuries. Our agricultural improvements have ended food shortages on 12 worlds. Our transportation innovations have reduced travel time between systems by 40%. Kane returned to his seat. This is what we wanted from the beginning. Not conquest, not domination, partnership. But you could conquer us all if you wanted to, Emperor. Thax said. It was not a question. Yes, Kane admitted. We could. But why would we want to? Slaves make poor trading partners. Fear makes poor friendship. We learned on Earth that cooperation is stronger than control. Ambassador Vex raised a shaking hand. What happens to species that still oppose you? Kane's expression never changed. Nothing, as long as they do not threaten others. We are not interested in ruling the galaxy. We are interested in making sure no one else can rule it either. The Terran Accords, as the new agreements were called, established simple rules. No species could declare war on another without council approval. All territorial disputes would be settled through negotiation. Military buildups beyond defensive needs would be monitored by joint inspection teams. Most importantly, any species that attacked a weaker neighbor would face the same response the Corthony had experienced. You are creating a prison, complained Ambassador Trix. We are creating a nursery, Kane corrected. A place where young civilizations can grow without being destroyed by older ones. A place where success is rewarded instead of punished. Dr. Park's transmission continued with more revelations. Human technology was advancing at an incredible rate. They had developed faster ships, more efficient energy sources, and medical techniques that seemed like magic. But instead of keeping these advances secret, they were sharing them with species that proved trustworthy. The galaxy is changing, Kane announced to the council. For 100 years, it was ruled by fear. Strong species dominated weak ones. Success was punished. Growth was crushed. He stood up again and looked around the chamber. That age is over. The galaxy will now be ruled by cooperation. Strong species will protect weak ones. Success will be celebrated. Growth will be encouraged. And if someone breaks these rules? Chairman Zolt asked. Kane's smile was the same one. Dr. Park had shown to War Master Grix 6 months ago. Patient, calm, and absolutely terrifying to anyone who understood what lay behind it. Then they will learn what the Corthony learned, Kane said softly, that humanity is very good at hunting. The chamber was silent except for the quiet hum of the station's life support systems. Every delegate understood that they were witnessing the birth of a new era. An era where the most dangerous species in the galaxy had decided to become its protectors. Whether that was a blessing or a curse remained to be seen.